Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sophia and thank you so much for clicking on this video and for giving me your time. So today I am doing the opposite of what I did in a previous video, maybe 2 videos ago. The signs that you are loving yourself. I already have high energy for this one because yeah, I'm guessing all of us are trying to do our best every day. So I hope that at least one of these resonates with you. Yeah, that you're loving on yourself. So the first thing that I will say is the first sign that you're loving on yourself is that you make time for yourself unapologetically. Like you set up time. Say, let me use myself as an example. Like in the morning, I always make sure that at least 10 minutes are mine where I just, well, I'm a Muslim, so I do pray, but after praying, like I like to either take some deep breaths or do some yoga or maybe say some affirmations or what do I like to do? Or go make myself some coffee. But you just make time for yourself unapologetically. And that looks like anything. It could be your skincare routine, because I think that's also time for me. Whatever it is, and you're not apologizing for it. Yeah, so anyone who is making time for themselves, and even if you're just sitting still and looking out the window doing nothing, that counts too. That is a sign that you're loving yourself. That means that you're not taking too much time being consumed in other things and other people. And yeah, you do that. And I add unapologetically because sometimes, some people might say if you're doing this that you might be selfish, you're not putting others first. But I think at this point we all know that self-care is not selfish. So yeah, if you're doing that, kudos to you. Next sign that you're loving on yourself is you don't really care what people have to say. Most of the things I'm gonna say are gonna be opposites of of what I talked about in my video of the signs of low self-care. Please check it out if you haven't already. But the opposite of all that in that video is a sign that you're loving on yourself. So you don't care what people say. Like you just see opinions as that, opinions. Like you have such a strong sense of self. You really know who you are. You take time to reflect and journal, and you have some kind of knowledge on who you are. Like you don't let people tell you who you are and what to be. And I believe that takes work, because most of us are generally conditioned to care about other people's opinions. So when you're done with that and you care about your opinion of yourself, that's where I think, and I don't want to make it seem like, I don't know, but not in a self-absorbed way, but you know who you are. Like you know your flaws, yeah, you don't care what people say. is basically is a note that I made. I think, let me explain that more, because we do care what people say to some extent, but I think you want to use discernment before you internalize people's opinions. You have a little filter, and that filter is the self-love, where you're like, is that something I could work on? Are they lying? Are they projecting? Are they assuming things? What is that? And sometimes there might be some truths to what people are saying, but that is a discernment, that is a filter that I'm talking about, and then you can work on it. But I think also how people say things sometimes is what makes us resistant to the feedback. Like sometimes people say things to make you feel like you're not a good person, rather than phrasing it in a way that this is something you could work on, you know. That is a skill that I know most people don't have, so I get it. Um, yeah, next thing is you're constantly seeking knowledge. You are constantly upgrading your mind, reading books, talking to different people, talking to people who are so different from you. You're open. You know, you're not that kind of person who says who is biased, who thinks that no, those people are like that. I don't want to talk to them. Like you don't assume things. You talk to people no matter how different they are, and you're constantly seeking out wisdom and knowledge, because knowledge lies in what is different from us, actually, because what we already know, like the people who are the same, actually even in the people who you say are the same backgrounds and culture, you might not know everything, but with people who have different cultures, if you're the kind of person who's open to learning and you're not so critical, yep, you love yourself. You love yourself, because when you do that for others, you're doing that for yourself. Like you're open to knowing yourself at a deeper level. You know that you haven't reached the, what is it, the tip or whatever. Like you see how, like, say for me, I know that I don't know myself to the extent that I think I do, you know, and that means that I'll be open to learning myself more. And if you're doing that with yourself, you're going to do that with others. An example of that is, right now I could think I know myself, but then say I get into a relationship, I'm gonna learn more about myself. That, oh, I thought I was a kind person. Maybe I'm not that kind. I thought I was an honest person. Maybe I need to be more thoughtful when I'm trying to be honest. Like there's a lot you can learn. Like when you have kids, you realize, oh, I didn't know anything about myself, because also children show you more about you. So a person who's constantly seeking knowledge knows that there's so much more to this world. Like you don't know everything, you know? And there's something humbling about that. And I think that is a sign of self-love. Another thing is you show up as yourself. Like you show up in whatever form that you're in, and you love yourself. Well, let me not say you love yourself, but you accept yourself. Because sometimes I think all of us have things in our bodies that, you know, you might be more critical of, but you're more accepting of those things, and you show up in that form. Like say for me today, if you've watched my previous videos, I most of the times I have makeup on, and because that's how I'm feeling in that time. But today I did not feel like wearing makeup, so I was like, let me put on my Fenty gloss, and that's it, and some skincare, and that's it. Like I show up as I am, and I don't I'm not too cautious of, you know, I'm not thinking so much about what I think I'm looking like, you know. Like I'm like, this is who I am today, and you're gonna take it. You know. So because I think sometimes, especially on these internet spaces, there's this kind of thing where we think we're supposed to show up a certain way, like all dressed up, all made up. At least some people think that way, but I believe in showing up as you feel. Like I see people in grocery stores wearing their bonnets. Like that's how you're feeling. It's okay. I don't think it's okay to judge people because that's how they feel. They don't feel like dressing up that day. And I think that's a sign of self-love, because self-love, before you even get to self-love, you kind of have to accept some things. And it's not easy, man, when society is consistently trying to tell us how to be, or what to look like, or what you cannot wear when you go outside, or what you cannot look like in a certain type of environment. But when you decide to make your own rules, I think there's so much beauty in that. And yeah, I think it's a great sign of self-love. I think the next point that lies into that is just a sign of self-love is self-acceptance. That you accept yourself in whatever ways that you are, your flaws. And I'm talking about like the things that you think are flawed about your physical self and inside. You're just confident in it, that you are willing to make mistakes and take guidance from them if anyone is giving you feedback. I think there's a lot of beauty in that, in not always seeking to be perfect, because that doesn't even exist, but in constantly being a student and being confident in that. I don't know if that makes sense, because I think there's so much freedom in that, in just accepting yourself. Because it's funny that when you accept yourself, other people accept you too. Yeah, it's not like other people's really that doesn't matter. What you think is what matters. So in a day and age where we all want to look a certain type of way because of society standards, or even the battles that we have inside ourselves, I think showing up as you, whatever it is, without caring about what people have to say about it, that is beautiful, and that is a sign of self-love. Yes, self-acceptance. You don't have to like everything. It's okay, okay? Like even me, I do come off as confident, and every time, it's funny that every time I talk about anything that I say, I think I don't like say about my physical body or inside of myself or whatever, my flaws. Like sometimes people are like, but damn, you seem so confident. And I'm like, yeah, I'm confident, but I still have things I don't like. I don't wish I could change them. I'm just like, I'm not yet accepting of it, but I'm now accepting of it. Like it's just like some days are better than others, but then some days you're just too critical. It's really a journey, man. Anyway, I took so long on that point. The next sign is self-forgiveness. You forgive yourself. Everything you've done that didn't work out, all the mistakes you've learned, if you said things that you didn't mean, you forgive yourself. That's a sign of self-love, because you realize that you're a human, that you're gonna make mistakes, and that you're growing, and that your mistakes don't define you. So you forgive yourself. That is a sign of self-love. Another sign is deep reflection. You constantly reflect on your actions, on your words, on your day. You sit down and write, because sometimes reflecting in the mind, things can be jumbled in there. But when you sit down, so for me on Sundays, I like to reflect, or even at the end of the day, I sit down, write in my journal. This is not something I do every day when it comes to, but there's days when I feel like there's a lot going on in my mind. I reflect, write down whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can even scribble in your notepad or your journal. Like it doesn't have to be perfect, clear thoughts, but just let it out, whatever it is. I think that is a sign of self-love, because you're even giving yourself the time, you're giving your thoughts attention. So yeah, that is a big sign of self-love, because that's when you even notice things, notice patterns, notice things that you want to work on, or things that you want to resolve. I think reflection is a deep part of self-love. But also what I want to add on reflection is a great way to be grateful, especially when you look back on your journal. Like if you look back into your journal, like say this time last year, if you're a person who journals, like go look at it. You're gonna see so much progress that you've made since then. And I look back at maybe like say 2019, and I look at the things I was writing. I'm like, wow, I if I wasn't reflecting, I would think that I've been in the same space. But reflection shows you how far you've come, and it gives you so much hope for the future. And yeah, it helps you realize that nothing is constant. Things are not going to be the same, and There is so much wisdom there, but you really have to reflect, man. And sometimes it's not easy because reflection also comes with facing yourself. And you can't reflect and be cute in your reflections. Reflection have to be like real, raw. You write it like no one is gonna read it. That is real reflection. Go deep, 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 deep. There was a time, I think, when I journaled, like I felt like someone was gonna read what I was writing, but I'm grateful that I have I have people who don't meddle like that, because I do have friends where their families like to go into their personal stuff and read their things, and I think that's so disrespectful. So that will affect your reflecting journey, or your reflections. So I think because I know I have a safe space, I put everything in there. I'm like, if I die, then they will read it all, but in this moment, I'm gonna put it in here anyway. Another thing is you honor your emotions. That's another sign of self-love. Whatever emotion comes, you honor it. Fear, anger, love, sadness, joy, courage, faith, whatever feeling you have, you sit in it. Of course, the more positive emotions, we're gonna sit in them, and if joy has come, you're not gonna run away from joy, right? But I think honoring emotions that are deep, like your sadness, you don't run away from it, you don't mask it, you don't drown it, you sit in it. Like sadness has come, you sit in it, you whatever you have to do, cry, journal, reflect, you sit there and be uncomfortable. That is a sign of self-love, because I'm gonna be saying this so many times on this channel, that your feelings just want your attention, and the more you run away from them, they're gonna grow. The more you mask them, the more you hide them, they're gonna grow, and they're gonna show up in other places, or they're gonna sit in parts of your body. If you honor your emotions, that is beautiful, man, because it's hard, man. Some days things are deep, but sitting in there and in that discomfort, you realize later that it gets smaller. Like even when those feelings come back, they're not as big, but the more you avoid them, they magnify. And the more you avoid them and suppress them, that's how depression comes in, because you have suppressed so many emotions, especially the low vibrational ones, that they've taken over, man. They take over. All they wanted was your attention. So if you're a person who honors your emotions, you cry it out, you laugh it out, you box it out, whatever it is, you're loving yourself. Another sign, you stand up for yourself. You stand up for yourself, and you do that in time. You don't sit on your emotions, like your negative emotions. Let me explain that. This is not an easy thing, because I do this. Like I if say we're having a conversation and someone says something offensive, I'm gonna stop them right there, and I'm like, what did you just say? What did you mean by that? I ask for clarity in time. I don't sit down on something that someone said and then later talk to my friend like, do you know, can you imagine what this person said to me? Like, that's all room for gossiping, holding emotions in your chest that you could have expressed in time. So for me, when someone says something I don't like, I address it immediately. I don't hold things in my chest. And I think that's a sign of self-love, because you're holding resentment for people who don't even know that you're resenting them, because you didn't tend to your emotions in time. You know, there's a lot of us who want to keep the peace. Oh, where is the peace? Where is the peace? Because it's not within you. It's not between the person that you're trying to keep the peace with. Like, where's the peace? Because we don't want to be confrontational, or we don't want to be in conflict. You are out here holding on to emotions that you could have said in time. I like when, if I'm having a conversation with someone, if I say something hurtful and they're like, man, Sophia, that was kind of harsh. And then I'm like, man, I'm so sorry. That's time for me to reflect. That's time for me to apologize in time to that person and tell them, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. And I'll definitely rephrase and do better in time. When you address things in time, you give someone an opportunity to mend, to apologize, you know, to clarify. And if they don't do that, then you know the kind of person you're dealing with. If they're defensive, if they you know, they're just like, man, you're too sensitive, man, then you know that, okay, this kind of person is right. It gives you feedback about that person. And you move forward knowingly. You know, you're knowing that, you know, this kind of person is like this. And maybe you can decide to if it's a pattern, then you can be like, man, I don't want to deal with this person anymore like that, because they're not accountable for their words. But I think people who hoard negative emotions, that's a disservice to yourself. If you're watching me and you do that, someone says something hurtful and you're like, I'm just gonna keep quiet. That's how they are. They're gonna keep doing that. They're gonna keep hurting you. They're gonna keep hurting others. But yet, if you tell them, they might change. Some people don't even realize they're hurting you. But if you don't tell them, how will they know? Come on. This is something you do for yourself, because you don't want to hold resentment, you know? And the more they keep doing it, you just end up hating this person. Meanwhile, this person you hate, they have no idea. Oh, that's the worst. You're in your movie alone, dying in it alone. Man, you're having beef with yourself, basically. So anyway, that was a long one, and I'm so passionate about that because so many people I know, they hoard emotions, negative emotions on people. Me, I don't resent anyone. I don't. Everything that I ever had a problem with, I addressed it. And through the years, my work has been on being less confrontational and working on how I speak and expressing myself of what you said hurt me, rather than attacking someone and making them feel a certain way when they didn't really intend to, you know. But I cannot tell you how freeing it is to resolve something in time. Try it out. Try it out. You're not going to be considered complicated or, I don't know, too emotional. At least if someone is sensible. Anyway, I took too long on that one, but it's deep. It's that deep. Another sign of someone who loves themselves is they practice delayed gratification, and that's where you forego you forego temporary enjoyment for a long-term benefit. Well, that's one way of describing it, but things like going to the gym, things like eating healthy, things that in the moment might, like saving your money for the future, saving up for something that you want. That's all delayed gratification, where you delay your happiness for future happiness, I guess. But yeah, if you practice that, if you go through painful things, but you know that pain is gonna, you know what, saying that, because going to the gym is painful. That's what I'm referring to. Exercising, there's some kind of pain, man, during the moment, but then after, the feeling that you get, that's what I mean. I hope I explained that properly, but You can read into delayed gratification because I think it's something that we need to practice more. Another sign is you take care of your body. I was just talking about that, going to the gym, eating good, exercise, nature walks, all that fall into that. And taking care of your body is also not hoarding negative emotions, because those emotions that you don't release, they're stored somewhere. They're stored in our neck, in our legs, in our muscles. That is taking care of your body. It's not just, the physical stuff. Skincare, taking a shower, a daily shower. Some of us, a daily shower, please. Shaving, cleaning your room, cleaning your house. All of that is self-care and self-love. You treat yourself is another sign. You treat yourself. You don't you practice delayed gratification, but you also treat yourself. Like you're not constantly in the future of, no, I need to save for this. Like some days you're like, nah. Let me buy this little thing, Let me buy this perfume that I've always wanted. Like once in a while you do that for yourself. Once in a while you take out that outfit that you've saved, dress up in the house. You're not going anywhere. You put on some perfume. You're not going anywhere. Those are little treats. Yeah, because some of us have things, oh my God, they even got cobwebs because you're out here waiting to go somewhere. And you never end up wearing your stuff because you're waiting on a moment. This is the moment. You better take those shoes out. You better take that jewelry out and wear it today in the house. Yep, do it. I'm telling you, there's a way you feel. There's a way you feel, and you can only do it if you practice it. Stop keeping things for the future that you might not even get to. People are gonna wear your things. You are going to die, and people are going to wear your things. Things that you kept, things that you thought were so precious. Get them out and wear them today, and sit in the living room, not going anywhere. Do it. I had to learn that. Anyway, another thing, there's so many things you can do to love yourself, but these ones are really highlights, just a few things. The next thing is you believe in what you see, not potential. You take people at face value. You don't start saying like, maybe this is what they meant, or you're not seeing too much of potential. You see what you see and you accept that. That's a person who loves themselves, because you are not constantly making excuses for people. You take things as you see them. That's a sign of loving yourself, because the opposite of that is continuously giving people chances who don't even deserve them, who have not even worked for them, constantly seeing the good in people who are constantly showing you that there is no good to be seen. You're just too kind, but only at your own detriment. So yes, you believe what you see at face value. You don't believe potential. Another thing, I think this is going to be the last thing, is you know what you deserve. You know what you deserve. That's a sign of self-love. Like, you know it. You know that you deserve the good things in this life. You just know it. Your self-worth is out here. You're not out here expecting bare minimum from this world. No. You know that you deserve all the good things, and you're gonna get them. There's a process, there's timing, and there's all that stuff. But you know that at the right time, you're gonna get everything that you deserve, everything that you want. and there's no limit on that. Like, you don't put any limits on saying, nah, these things are for these certain kinds of people. No, 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 no. You know that you were created by the divine, and you have that sauce in you that everybody else has, that God loves you just as much as he loves everybody else, and you will get everything that you want in the right time. And you're patient, you're kind to yourself, you know, you respect that journey, but you know what you deserve, and you're not gonna settle. You will not settle. That means you love yourself. um because it's so easy to settle these days, because we want things in our own time, that you refuse to wait for the things that are already ordained for you. You refuse to wait, and then you settle for breadcrumbs. Man, you who loves yourself, you will wait. You're waiting, and you're patiently waiting. And as you wait, you're grateful for what you have. You're not taking things for granted. Because, you know, even the things that you have right now, you once prayed for them. Yeah, yep. You love yourself. Okay. I think that's going to be it for today. If you have any more to add to this list, please leave them down in the comments. There's so many things I haven't mentioned. You affirm yourself. You look in the mirror and you're like, yep, that's me. I might not be looking my best today. I might not be feeling my best today, but I'm the best either way. There's so many things, man, that I could add to this list, but we don't want this video to be an hour, 2 hours long, do we? Maybe we do, but I'll save you and your time. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and for giving me your time every day. And feel free to click on all these other videos that I have if anything resonates with you. And like, subscribe, share, comment. Man, I'd be forgetting to say that. Like, please support in any way that you can. But even you watching this is supportive, so thank you. All right, until next time. Deuces.